limit of your ability to debate is like trying to capture little moments where somebody's trying to say an answer and you just use that as a moment. Like,
I expose intellectually dishonest people. Those are my moments. Yes.
And you do this for a living. I would expect you to use cheap methods like that. I'm just saying. If you actually use, thank you, I appreciate it. If you actually use,
and if you were pretending to use science to back up your magical stories, then you would just make shit up on the spot, which is what you do.
Stop doing that. Stick to my script. If I try to bring up another argument, you say stop. Stick to my script. If I try to bring up another argument, you don't let me.
And when you change the subject, you say that I was the one that changed the subject. So if we could only see 7,000 light years, would the Bible be false?
You just stick on the same thing. I already told you. If we're seeing 14 redshifts away, that's how far we're seeing. The difference in terms of how much time that is based upon the model which you use.
I didn't ask you for any time. I said if we could see 7,000 light years, would the Bible be false?
We're not using that as a measurement of. We're not using that as a measurement of time because we know there's different models, right? We're not using that.
I'm literally not talking about time. I'm talking about distance. If we could only see 7,000 light years, would the Bible be false?
That's not what the model says. And are you even paying attention, man? So that if you're using the one-way scale,
the model isn't a model. The model is just, thank you, scientists, for doing the data. Now let me say the light was brought here instantly. That's how it works. That's not a model.
If we stretched out space at a certain amount of time, right? We stretched out space at a certain amount of time, and if the light was already brought here, if that was the natural way, if that's the way the Earth was created when it was first created, if it was formed, right? If it was first formed, and that's the way it is, then we'd have to look into science and see if there's a way to verify that. If it fits with physics, then it does, right? And then it's up to everybody else to start making predictions based on that. And you know what? Dr. Jason Lau has made predictions time and time and time again. And the secular scientists who go with the conventional paradigm make their predictions. They've been wrong. He's been right.
Okay.
I wonder who
host.
If somebody's
what would be
wrong,
the observation that would prove the universe is?
How do you test the merit of a scientific argument? What do you do? How do you test the merit of a scientific argument?
Whether or not it can produce reliable, accurate results.
You make predictions, right? That's the way. That's
the first step. I was skipping to the end. So, what would be the observation we would make that would prove the Bible is false?
I'm still doing my line of questioning. You had your time. This is my live, by the way. I appreciate you bringing all the viewers in. I thank you for that. I'm being gracious in that. Thank you for bringing the viewers in.
Oh, damn! I didn't even notice. Nice.
Yeah, you have a bigger following than me. I've heard about you. I have never seen your live yet. People have been telling me to debate you, but I haven't gone to your live yet. Which we should do a debate. Pick another topic, evolution, whatever you want to do. We could do a debate. I don't know where or when on your live. I don't know where, but I think it would be beneficial for people to hear both sides if you're up for that kind of thing.
I do it every weekend.
Take on endogenous retroviruses when it comes to common ancestry.
No, we're going to talk about cosmology some more.
I'm not an astrophysicist, but I could try.
Well, my question is, what observation could we make in cosmology that would prove what the Bible says about the age of the Earth is false?
Is false?
Yeah.
So we would constantly see these young universes out there. We wouldn't see the heavy elements that we see out there. We would see what we would expect to see from that model, which is these young universes out there, because we're looking back into time according to. This is billions of years ago. We're looking back into time. So we look there. We expect to see all these young, not formed, in their infancy universes, which we don't see. We expect us to not see these blue star formations. We expect to see the Earth magnetism way more advanced than it is. We expect to see the moon. We expect to see further out in terms of the rate it's moving away from Earth. We would expect to see that even further out than it is. Right now, it doesn't fit with the rate which we see. So the moon would be way further out if the universe was older. So all these things we don't see in our own universe, we just don't see in the universe. If the universe was billions of years old, we expect to see all these things. We just don't see them. We see a younger universe. We see evidence all over the place.
I didn't ask you.
The breakdown of comets, right?
You're not answering my question. You're answering a different question.
This supposed Oort cloud. This is the age of the universe. It is, yes. So we wouldn't expect to see any comets.
You're not.
We wouldn't expect to see any comets. We see comets all over the place. Where is this Oort cloud?
Incredibly far away. You're not answering the question. What you're doing is saying, if the universe is billions of years old, here's what we shouldn't find. I asked you, if the universe was only 6,000 years old, what observation would prove that false in astronomy?
Yeah, and I was giving you the contrary, which we would see all these different things.
No, see, what's happening here is Your answer is nothing. Nothing would ever ever prove that the Earth and universe are not 7,000 years old. You've already just retroactively taken all the data and said instantaneous light. There, it works.
That's what I said. No, that's not what I said.
Yes, it is.
What were the other things I listed? I just went over them.
Those weren't about the Earth being young. Those were about the universe being old.
If it weren't young, if it weren't young, right, we would expect to see way out there, billions of years, these younger form galaxies, proving that those are billions of years old, that they're so far out there that we're young. We wouldn't expect to see fully formed galaxy like we see, which is my paradigm.
What stellar mass index are you using for the galaxy formation?
I don't know what it's called, but anyways, we wouldn't expect to see.
You have no idea what stellar mass index is, which is why your assumptions about the galaxy formation are unfounded.
No, they're not unfounded because
yes, they are. Because we don't know the stellar mass index of galaxies that are that far away. Because the farthest away galaxies, we only get a few photons from them. So we've never been able to gauge what their specific stellar mass index is or composition of stars is. Okay. We've always had to go based on the Milky Way, which is the only galaxy we can really see that kind of thing with. And that's... It's an assumption we're forced to make because it's the only kind of assumption we can make with respect to this. But that James Webb data, when they looked at it, the sizes of those galaxies was within the range of error of the size they should be, but they didn't like it because it did the error bars. It was kind of the error bars that touched on the acceptable range, and they'd rather have the other part of that. It's like a box and whisker plot or whatever. They'd rather have the body of it inside there. But then what cosmologists realized is, well, we're using a Milky Way stellar mass index. An early universe in Big Bang cosmology would have been vastly more dense, and star formation would have happened quicker because the matter was clumped closer together, and gravity would have coalesced matter together faster. A slight adjustment in that makes all of the data fit perfectly in the Big Bang model. Mm-hmm. There is no contradiction in the Big Bang model.
I read some of these. I didn't read all of them. I read some of these to try to explain this away. And then these arguments are all still in their infancy. They don't have a lot of proof for any of this. These are just ideas thrown. Just like when they discovered, the tissue in dinosaur bones, right? They threw out all these theories, all these ideas, and none of them have held water. There's no proof for any of them, and they just don't work, right? So there's just so many people get scared, right? And right after in 2020, you could see all the articles. This rewrites everything. This changes everything we know. Everybody understood this because it didn't fit with the conventional paradigm. So everybody,
no, it did fit.
All their careers, everything's on the line. No, it didn't. Because
yes, it did. I literally explained to you that it was within the margin of error.
Over the course of the next year, you're right. People try to come up with supposed explanations, but none of these have any evidentiary support.
Do you know what the stellar mass index is for galaxies that are tens of billions of light years away?
I don't.
So then why are you saying that the evidence doesn't fit?
Because I can see what they're just coming up with the idea right there, and they don't have no data, they have no experimental data.
Like instantaneous light arriving to Earth to preserve an age of 7,000 years old.
That's the beginning point, right? And so if that's a beginning point, you can then make predictions upon that, scientific predictions, and what you expect to see. And every single time Dr. Jason Lisle has been right, every single time everybody else has been wrong, who's not of the convention. But there's other astrophysicists who make predictions too. They're Dr. Jason Lisle, and they're similar. I'm just telling you, that's the way it is. And if you can't handle that, it's because, I don't know if it's ruined a soundbite for you, you want to interrupt, but that's the way it is.
Host, if it was 200 years ago and you were asked how far away, like we didn't know about the speed of light, but so let's just say 100 years ago, 110 years ago, right? That's after Einstein published his paper, but it was before Edwin Hubble discovered the Andromeda Nebula was really a galaxy. I can't remember how far away he said it was, but it was I think it was a million light years away at least. But anyways, if it was over 100 years ago and you know what the speed of light is and somebody asked you, how far away do you think the light has gone since the universe began? What would your number have been? I don't see how it could possibly be more than 7,000.
I thought you said it was 200. Sorry, I was looking through things. I thought you said it was 200 years ago.
No. It's It's a little over 100 years ago, so we know the speed of light, but we don't know how big the universe is yet.
Oh, I see.
I ask you, you think the universe is only 7,000 years old. How far do you think the light has gone then?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think everybody would expect just to see if that was 7,000 years, right? We expect to see. Just
Okay,
that far.
so then the evidence, that's a biblical hypothesis, and the biblical hypothesis was demonstrated to be false.
Yeah, but we've obviously understood a lot more.
But
about
only
astronomy.
by the terms of science. Science isn't an absolute.
Okay, well, I don't know who you are. Thank you for coming in, but we usually wait
Yeah.
till then.
Host, I don't want to go, but I gotta go.